Hello viewers, today for repair we have a set of AT&T 2.4 GHz cordless telephones. This is model 1480, and the issue with this set is the screens. You can see the screen is missing a lot of the pixels, and the same is the case with the cordless handset. Unfortunately, a lot of these earlier AT&T and VTech made telephones had this problem, and it is correctable if you have the proper tools to do it, but it's really a shame because most of these models are becoming rare because they were tossed out when the screens failed, and the screens failed pretty quickly. It'll give out within maybe 2 or 3 years. And it's not even so much a function of failing over time, it's rather a function, or I meant failing with use. It's not a function of failing with use, it's simply a function of failing over time, because the ribbon cable that connects the LCD panel to the main PC board just wasn't made properly or whatever, and so the connection deteriorates and it ends up coming off the board, and that's when the pixels start failing. So it's a serious design flaw, and it unfortunately plagues so many different models of these earlier AT&T and VTech telephones, and it's really a shame because these were otherwise pretty good quality phones. I've removed all the screws from the base. I thought there was a screw under there, but as it turns out that's just a baloney sticker that doesn't really have any significance. So let's go ahead and get this opened up. There we go. And we're going to be working with the top half here primarily. And actually I believe the only thing that we have to remove is going to be this display board here. Okay, so this cable, let's zoom this thing in. This cable that we're looking at here, this is what's failing. Whoops. So now I got to get this thing apart so I can access where it's soldered onto the board, or rather it's just kind of glued on. And then once I get that off, we're going to reflow the connection. Okay, so I just got it off, and usually the problem is right within here, and I don't know if this will pick up on the video or not, but you can see, at least in person, that the connection it looks very crummy. It's got I don't know if there's bubbling, or you can see it's kind of like peeling up in certain places, and so that is what's causing the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and reflow this connection, and then we're going to see that the display will start working again. So I'm going to power this back up so we can get a good before shot. And just to prove a point here, I'm going to, well, it's not doing it this time, but sometimes if you just press along the connection here, it'll kind of come back a little bit, but it's not doing that yet. So let me get some heat on here and see if we can get this going. I just applied some heat to the connection, and now you can see what I was talking about before. As I kind of move this around and press on this connection, it does start to work in certain places. So I got to apply some more heat a couple more times and get this all reflowed so that it starts working properly. Okay, we're just about there. It looks like there's one row of dead pixels in the middle there. So I'm going to apply one more round of heat, but we're just about finished with this screen. Alright, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up again and make sure none of the pixels go out as I do this, because that is a possibility when you keep manipulating the cable. It looks like they're all still good. So now we can begin reassembling. Okay, power this up, make sure it's working.
Please select now recording. Change announcement. Hello, please leave.
Okay, that looks pretty good. I think all the pixels are there. I can't see if the time and date is on there because I don't have any calls in here. I don't think this...
Monday, 12. Mailbox. 1.
Oh, please be quiet. Yeah, so I have to call it up and check the caller ID, but looks like all those pixels are working. So now let's get into the cordless. And these cordless phones, at least this particular model, is very difficult to get apart. And actually, perhaps before I get all these screws intertwined, I'm going to go ahead and put the screws back into here. These antennas actually have a tendency to break, which is surprising because they're solid plastic, but they still break. So inside of here we have a plethora of screws. We've got one up at the top here on this thing. And they're all different sizes too. just fell. Well, anyways, let's see here. Now there is a little plastic clip there that's holding this in place, so pull that back and kind of has to go pretty far back to release this. Two antennas. It's a dual band telephone, 900 megahertz and 2.4 gigahertz. And then to pull this back, we have one more screw under here. And now the headset jack goes through the plastic part, so that's kind of interesting, trying to get that out. But now I believe all the screws have been removed and it's as ready to come out as it's ever going to be. There's some stupid copper thing here. I haven't the slightest idea what that is, what purpose it serves. I really have no idea. This sticky material is bent over in there. It's going to be a thrill trying to put this thing back together with it like that. But anyways, it's apart now. And yet another screw to go. And so this is where the screen is, and this stupid copper thing has to come off. And this is what we're going to be working with, this connection right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the battery into this telephone so we can see how we're progressing. And it's probably upwards of 90% failure here. Just to prove a point, I'll put in some 8s. And you can see very, very little of it is actually working. The whole screen should be full of 8s right now, which use all the pixels. So I'm going to start applying some heat to this and see if we can get this working again. And actually you can see already, just as I apply some pressure onto this, oh God, we can't see it that far away, but if I zoom in, as I apply pressure to this ribbon cable where it makes the connection, you can see parts of it start to work. The connection has been reflowed, and now you can see here we're getting 100% functionality out of all the pixels on the screen. So we can go ahead and put this back together, and that's going to be a very frustrating process because these phones are just not made to be easy to work on. Make sure we didn't lose any pixels. Looks like we didn't. The repair is now complete. We have two working screens. This is a bad angle, you can hardly see it. There we go. There's that one. And this one.